Welcome to Ellaeenah Ascension Network. I am Ellaeenah, and I am honored to be your light friend eternally. Through inspired meditations and channelings from the cosmic overlord JadeFire and other divine masters of white light, let us proceed together on our spiritual journey as lovers of Gaia and beings of divine light. I invite you to visit our sacred space of learning and oneness, www.jadefirelight.com/blog, to read and hear discourses that provide self-empowering divine wisdom. From my soul to yours, in love light and faith divine, I am Ellaeenah JadeFire. Greetings from light. We spoke to you the last time that we recognize you by your light signature. We do not know you as your name. We do not care for you for your possessions. Your physical being means little to us. It is your light that enriches all of the universe, or stops the universe itself from reaching its highest potential. You may not be aware of this, but your light signature is of utmost importance to the universe at large. Do not forget that you are the universe. And if your light is dim, the light of the universe cannot be at its radiant best. So what affects your light signature? Let us explain that to you now. You have already been told in earlier discourses how each one of you is a sharp point of divine light. Your divine strand that has been activated, enlightened, enlivened. And do you also recall that surrounding this divine strand are the unassimilated strands that you have taken the responsibility to assimilate while you dwell in this body that you sometimes give so much importance to. And so that is a second layer, your unassimilated strands. What will influence, what will determine the assimilation of these strands? And that is the third and the fourth layer, your emotional field and your mental field, your feelings and your thoughts will determine whether these strands are assimilated partially, wholly, or not at all. When we refer to your light signature, are we talking of your divine spark? No. Are we talking of the unassimilated energy strands that you have taken responsibility for? No. Your light signature is determined by your feelings and your thoughts. And all those thoughts that are the uppermost truly determine your light signature. At this moment, your thoughts are in a state of purity. And if you could see your light, you might be pleasantly surprised. But in times when you are critical, judgmental, demanding something of another, negating yourself, or bringing down another, your light signature becomes dim. And depending upon how long such thoughts prevail, it dims further and further. Naturally, no assimilation can take place when the light is dim. Those who are healers, those who are spiritual masters, those who are seers, have sometimes spoken of energy spaces in the auric field that they call dark energy. What is this darkness? This darkness that they see is the light signature that has dimmed so considerably and over so extended period of time that it has now become dark. There is no such thing as dark energy. What you see, what you perceive as darkness is only the absence of light. The longer there is an absence of light, the stronger do the unassimilated strands become. The stronger the unassimilated strands, the baser are your thoughts and feelings. Can you see now how difficult it becomes for you once you get into a cycle of dim light to get out of it? But only you create the dimness, and only you can once again create radiance. So why don't we tell you a few of the various things that this human world does, which leads to the dimming of the light. On top of that list is non-concern, non-caring of another. The less you care about another, the dimmer is your light. Yes, we are aware how many of you give yourselves the excuse of I was angry,
I was hurt. I did not mean it. None of these are excuses for anyone save yourself. The light dims. Light does not see that you did not mean it. Light does not care that you said it in a moment of rage. But if your actions, your words have hurt another, have not cared for their well-being, whether it be their physical well-being, their mental well-being, or their emotional well-being, your light will dim. So here you might believe that by putting everyone else ahead of you, your light will be bright. But let us tell you that that is a myth as well. If you place everyone else ahead of yourself and are non-caring about yourself, the light dims just as much as it would dim were you non-caring about another. The truth lies in between these two extremes. And unless you know who you genuinely are, unless you are aware of the resolution that you still require to make, unless you know your own flaws and weaknesses, you will not be able to walk this middle path. Yes, you must look after yourself. You must care for yourself. Self-love is the purest kind of love. For where there is self-love, there is automatic embrace of all. So you must strive to be balanced and care for yourself and care for others. Yes, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. You desire to make a sacrifice. But if that sacrifice comes from an inner voice of the martyr or the victim, that sacrifice will dim your light. The truth is, you cannot give to another what you do not possess. And if you possess no love for yourself, what love will you be able to give to another? And here this is an extremely thin line that you must walk. For if you do not know how to make a difference between your ego and your spirit, you will not know whether this action or the words come from self-love or self-centeredness. Many of you have been wounded by others. Beloveds, it is part of the human race It is a part of human relations. You have hurt others, and others have wounded you. That is a truth you cannot escape from. But when you cling to those wounds, desiring the one who has caused these wounds to you to make them better, your light will constantly remain dim. The one who has caused you a wounding has done it from his or her place of dimness. Why do you dim your light further? By expecting that the other will heal that wound. When you claim that you will be healed, when another says sorry, when another says they understand, when another says they believe, you are stubbornly adhering to your ego. You cannot escape being wounded. The lower heart will constantly put you into that space. But how long you decide to remain in that wounded space is your choice. Similarly, so many of you emotionally depend upon others and believe that their approval will make things right for you, that their love will make you feel better about yourself. Each time you wait, and often you wait endlessly for another's love and validation and approval, your light signature dims. And the truth is, such waiting is often endless. What is happening to your light signature? Have you ever considered that every moment that you wait is a moment that has once again reduced your own light? How many of you genuinely live only in the present moment? You dwell upon the past. You wait for the future. And it could be for yourself. It could be for others that you love, like your children. But again, that is immaterial to the light. Light shines at its brilliant best when you are completely in the present moment. When all thoughts, when all memories have been laid to rest, when all anxieties and worries have been transcended. For in that present moment, you experience yourself as that divine spark that lies hidden under the thoughts and the feelings and the unassimilated energy strands. And then there is yet something else that dims your light. And that is how you define who you are. It is extremely easy to speak of spiritual facts and state, I am light, I am God, I am love. But the thought behind those words do not match. And so though you may be speaking such spiritual sounding words, your light continues to dim. So be honest. How do you define yourself? Do you define yourself by your relationships? Do you define yourself by your possessions? Do you define yourself by the roles you play in life? Self-definition is the easiest way to dim your light, but the surest way to expand it. Before we meet again, we ask only this of you. At several moments in the day, step back and ask yourself, is my light dim or is it shining bright? As soon as you ask yourself this question, you will instantly become aware of your thoughts and feelings. Very few of you make physical demands of others now. Yes, you have learned. Yes, you have grown. But it is now time to shift your attention from the spoken demands, the physical demands, to the non-spoken demand. And that non-spoken demand is only one. Be only that which I am comfortable with. How much freedom do you give others to be who they are without passing judgment? But here you trick yourself again, because you have learned over all these long years not to be judgmental. And so you believe that what you have just thought or said is not a judgment, it is merely a comment, an observation. You may call it what you will, beloveds. The light has dimmed. When you genuinely give another the freedom to be who they are in that moment, there is a complete non-awareness of their flaw. You merely view it as though you were viewing a piece of furniture. You do not even see it as a flaw. So where is the question of judging it as a flaw? Now ask yourself, how much freedom do you give others? You have learned to have control over your words because you know that they will sound critical and judgmental. But are you aware of how many thoughts have already passed in that moment? Have you ever asked, why should another be anything different from what they are? So before we meet, there will be one pointed focus. Not to expand your light. The focus will be upon knowing in that moment if your light is dim or bright. That first step is essential. If you can recognize in every moment if your light is dim or bright, it will never be dim. You do not have to make an attempt to be radiant. That is your natural state. You have to endeavor not to be dim. So if you can recognize that you are in dimness, that recognition will instantly bring to your awareness the thought and the feeling that has caused the dimness. And you will, without making an attempt, you will change it in that instant. So once again we greet you. Be light.